Welcome to ClearSpan's Indoor Riding Arenas webinar. Thank you for joining us. I would like to introduce Kat Hayden, one of our Truss Arch specialists here at ClearSpan. Kat specializes in indoor riding arenas and can be a great resource for you. If any of your questions are not answered today, please contact her directly. Whether you are just looking for a quote on a building, want to learn more about our engineering processes, or want to see a building in your area, Kat can help you out. Today, Kat will be talking to you about the benefits of fabric as indoor riding arenas, the differences between fabric, wood, and steel buildings, why you would choose a ClearSpan fabric structure. Without further introduction, I will now hand the mic over to Kat and we'll get started. Thanks for joining us. Hi and welcome to ClearSpan's Indoor Riding Arena webinar. My name is Kat Hayden and I have been with ClearSpan for a little while now. I graduated from Mount Holyoke College with a degree in biology and I've been riding for the past 10 years. I specialize mainly in our fabric riding arenas. I really do love talking with all of our equine customers. Throughout the webinar, I'm going to explain a little bit about our company, our structures, some of the cost savings that we see our customers having, the benefits of fabric buildings versus wood or steel, some of the popular sizes and the foundations that we use, the installation options, our financing packages, and some of the next steps you can take towards getting your own ClearSpan fabric riding arena. To start off, a little bit about our company. We've been in business now since about 1979. We were founded here in Connecticut at our South Windsor office, and we are owned and operated within the United States. Our plant in Dyersville, Iowa, is where we do all of our warehousing, manufacturing of our ClearSpan buildings, and all of our farm tech, tech supply, and grower supply products. We can manufacture and engineer any structure that you need. All of our engineers are certified, and we design to the specific location with the specific wind and snow loads that an area has. Our manufacturing facility in Dyersville, Iowa is really interesting. I think it's kind of neat that we do all of our own manufacturing out of a big fabric building. Our biggest structure there is a 160 wide facility that goes to about 320 feet long. We do all of our welding there, we do all of our pipe bending, and even make our covers there. Most of the time, as you can see in those pictures, we don't even turn the lights on during the day until second shift because it's so bright inside the building. Not only are ClearSpan buildings used for riding arenas, but we have so many different other applications for them. As you can see, we've done structures for boathouses, composting. We even have done a seasonal haunted house building. We've done projects for mines, airplane hangars, and even Frito-Lay. We did a manufacturing facility for them. We've done things like athletic facilities and storage facilities and hay storage too. Due to our building's versatility and customizable options, we are the preferred structure in the equine and agricultural markets. Today, fabric has become a more popular use in riding arenas because of the lighting benefits and the cost comparisons. Many farmers and equestrians are finding that there are many benefits of fabric compared to traditional wood or metal structures. We have a 15-year warranty on both the frame and the cover of our structures. That's not to say that the cover won't last longer. We usually see about 20 to 25 years out of the lifespan of the cover. Usually after that, customers come back to replace their covers because their steel is still standing. The cover is made out of a 12.5-ounce ripstop scrim that's a polyethylene fabric. The steel is USA made and triple galvanized to provide exceptional strength. Like I said earlier, we engineer each structure for the specific location. That means I have to take a look at the local building code requirements for the wind and snow loads and then design your structure in accordance to those. I can pretty much design any size structure that you need. I've done buildings as small as 20 feet wide, and we've even done some as long or as wide as 300 feet. And I could do them at any length. In fact, one of our facilities in Dyersville is 780 feet long. One of the nice things about riding in a ClearSpan arena is because there are no interior supports or posts, which allows us to use the maximum space. ClearSpan structures are very, very nice to ride in. As you can see from some of the pictures, the daytime natural light is wonderful. Most customers don't even put lighting in their structures if they're just riding during the day. Traditional wood and steel buildings are usually dark and dreary, and there's always that one spooky corner that your horse will shy away from. They always require lighting during the day and especially at night. Many of our customers that purchase ClearSpan riding arenas see a huge deduction in their electricity bills. Most of the time, they don't turn their lights on at all during the day, as you can see through the energy cost comparison. They also have to put up less fixtures in a facility because the fabric actually reflects a little bit of the light. One of the nice things about riding in a ClearSpan arena during the wintertime is actually that it acts a little bit like a greenhouse. When it's sunny out, I find that riding in a ClearSpan arena is a little bit warmer than actually being outside. In my own personal experience, the facility that I keep my horse at, we have a 65 by 200 fabric arena, and I can go in there on a nice day when it's about 30 degrees and sunny and just ride in a simple turtleneck, a vest, and a pair of riding pants. And I feel comfortable, and even if I'm riding for a half an hour, 35, 45 minutes, I still work up a pretty good sweat. It's always nice and warm inside. It's very light, and my horse definitely seems to like it a lot better compared to the old metal ring that we used to have. Even sometimes during the summer, I find that I go in on a hot day. As long as the big doors are open and I have some fans going, it usually ends up being much cooler than riding outside in the hot sun. Like sometimes when I can't get to the stable until 11 noon on a Saturday and it's 90 degrees here in Connecticut, it's usually much cooler to ride inside. Traditional buildings, in my own experience, metal or steel, during the wintertime get very cold and they absorb a lot of the cold that is radiating. Recently, we've been coming up with different ways to attach and even put stalls inside a ClearSpan arena. Some of the pictures down at the bottom are one of my favorite arenas that we've done. It was a facility in Iowa where they actually built their stalls into their end wall. And as you can see, they have their hay stacked on top, which I think is a great use of space and allows you to use all of your space in your arena and have lots of storage space inside. The high clearance that we have on our ClearSpan arenas allows for storage space, offices, even viewing areas. Some people also connect their ClearSpan indoor riding arena right to their existing stall building. We recently worked on another project in Ohio where we connected a 40-stall building to a 100 by 210 riding arena. I was inside that structure back in August, and it's very, very nice. I love that you can just walk directly from your stall area right into your arena. One of the other nice things about a ClearSpan riding arena, especially if you own a business, are some of the tax advantages. There's a tax code called Section 179, which allows you to depreciate the value of your structure within a year, compared to a metal or steel building that can take upwards of 20 to 30 years. As you can see, there are many, as you can see on the screen there, you can kind of take a look at some of the examples of what we've seen in the past. Technically, you can classify a ClearSpan riding arena as a piece of equipment for your business. The building is classified as temporary, and under that, you're allowed to take a deduction. I always tell customers to check with their tax accountant and whoever does their taxes. You're going to see how it fits in with your own situation. Our riding arenas are also very environmentally friendly. We manufacture all of our steel from recycled steel. The frames and the covers can be recycled. We have a very short construction time also, which reduces a lot of emissions from machinery. It usually takes my ClearSpan crew about 7 to 10 days to fully erect a structure, whereas wood or steel buildings take much, much longer. There is even a smaller environmental footprint on our structures. We require less lighting, less heating, and less cooling, thus using less electricity. We have exceptional acoustics in our riding arenas. There's always that very harsh sound of pelting against the roof during a snowstorm or a rainstorm on a wood or metal building. I've been in arenas in a wooden arena where it's raining and I can barely hear the instructor trying to speak to us. The rain in a ClearSpan arena is much quieter. So is the snow. We don't get as much snow buildup as most wood or conventional steel buildings. The horses tend to remain calmer. It's very bright and very airy inside, which the horses like. In traditional wood or steel buildings, horses usually spook. There's always that one corner that every horse doesn't want to go into, and it can get very noisy too with echoing. Depending on what kind of riding you do, I personally ride dressage, but some of you out there may ride Western, and I'm sure know the natural horseman Pirelli training method. Pirelli loves fabric riding arenas. He has been using them for a long, long time now and is a firm believer and advocate of riding in a fabric arena. Just for the excellent acoustics, the wonderful lighting, and I'm sure that I've Googled in the past his what he says about fabric riding arenas, and he really does love them. Another nice thing about ClearSpan riding arenas is the low maintenance. I get a lot of questions about, well, can you clean the fabric? Does it get dirty? And of course it's going to get dirty, if you've got 10, 20 horses on your facility and you're riding them all during the day and your footing is splashing up against the fabric. My recommendation on keeping our fabric clean, we always clean our building once a year with just a hose and water. Some people actually I've known to take a soft broom and run it up and down the fabric where the dirt is to get the dirt away. Traditional buildings usually require painting or residing every 3 to 5 years. That is pretty costly, and wood always rots eventually. The fabric, we see that the fabric lives about 20 to 25 years with virtually no maintenance, whereas wood and steel usually have maintenance every 3 to 4 to 5 years. Like I mentioned earlier, the construction times of a ClearSpan arena are much shorter than a wood or steel structure. We have lower construction costs, and most buildings can be up and running from 7 to 10 days. Smaller structures can take 3 to 5. Larger structures usually take 7 to 10. Whereas wood or traditional metal buildings take much, much longer. I've seen some metal buildings or some wood buildings take months and months to construct, depending on the weather conditions and depending on the foundation. There's a lot that needs to go into a wood or metal building, whereas a ClearSpan building usually is a little bit easier to erect. Basically, the trusses come and you would bolt them together, and then they get lifted up by a crane and mounted to the foundation. They all get connected together with a series of connector purlins, and then the cover gets pulled over. Usually by the time 7 to 10 days is done, as long as you have your footing inside your arena, you can go ahead and use it. So on to our most popular building sizes. The 65 wide round, the 72 wide round, the 83 wide gable style, and the 100 wide gable style are some of our most popular riding arena sizes. The 65 wide round is really nice for our dressage riders because it's the width, it ends up being a 20-meter width. The 72 is also a great size. The 83 and the 100 I see a lot with our Western clientele and our customers that jump also. There are a lot of different foundation options for a ClearSpan arena. Unlike wood or metal that usually just needs to be anchored to concrete, we can get pretty creative with the foundation that you use. I have a lot of customers that do simple concrete piers. Some do concrete blocks. Some do wooden posts. Some do a poured concrete wall, and some do helical anchors. The most cost-effective foundation options are usually concrete blocks or helical anchors. For structures that are smaller than 65 feet wide, I usually recommend concrete blocks, wooden posts, or helical anchors. For structures that are a little bit larger and that are much heavier than a 65-foot wide building, I usually recommend a concrete pier or a poured concrete wall, and those helical anchors work very well also. The helical anchors is something that we've developed in the past 2 to 3 years here at our company as an alternative to concrete. They're usually lower in cost than pouring concrete and much easier to install. This also allows us to keep the building turnkey and letting us do the entire package for you. Unfortunately, we don't do concrete work because it takes quite a lot of time. And if customers choose to have concrete done, then that's definitely their preference. I usually suggest if you're looking for a turnkey package, something where we would do absolutely everything for you from the building to the installation to the foundation, I recommend going with the helical anchors. Some of our smaller buildings, I have quite a lot of customers that actually put them up themselves. Sizes that are smaller than 65 wide, I usually recommend to have customers put them up themselves or use a local general contractor in your area. For a little bit bigger building that you might think you want some more help with, you could actually use a ClearSpan manager that would come to your site and direct the entire installation process. I have a lot of customers that have the labor and that are willing to put in the time to put the structure up, but they just need a little bit more guidance and they're unsure of a few things. That usually is the most cost-effective way to put the structure up. We would be sending you someone directly from our Iowa facility who would orchestrate the whole process. For much larger buildings, I always recommend to have my ClearSpan crew install the structure. They're super knowledgeable and very quick. Another one of the great things that we've come up with here at ClearSpan Farm Tech in the past, I'd say 10 years, we have started to finance customers as well. Just like a car where you can get a loan or a lease, we do the same thing. It's nice to break things down into a monthly payment to make it a little bit more manageable. We have terms up to 7 years. I've seen a lot of customers come back with a 0% interest financing rate, and obviously that's all subject to credit approval. Most of the time, the 0% interest is offered for 3 years with about 30% down on a structure, whereas the 7-year terms is offered with 4.99% interest with about 30% down as well. My financing team is very creative with coming up with offers for customers. I have some customers that get terms up to 5 years with a 2% interest as well. So it's certainly not to say that we can't come up with something for you as well. We also love to reward our customers that show off their structures. I'm always looking for structures in areas to send customers. I always have customers wanting to see a structure. Just like buying a car, you need to test drive it before you buy it. And I firmly believe that if you haven't seen a fabric building or even ridden in one before, if there's one in your area and you'd be willing to go take a day trip to go see one, definitely. For the investment you're going to make, I'd say go take a look at one. And if you were to purchase a ClearSpan arena and have a customer come, if they were to purchase one, we'd give you $1,000 of that money towards whatever you wanted, whether it was $1,000 off your building cost, or we just cut you $1,000 check where you can buy the groceries, or maybe a new TV, or maybe a new saddle. But that's up to you, and we certainly appreciate our customers taking the time to talk to perspectives that are looking and that really want to get a good feel for the structure. At this time, please feel free to type any of your questions. If there's anything that you want me to answer, I'd love to. My contact information is listed on the screen. After the seminar, I will be back at my desk tonight until about 6:30 Eastern Time. So please feel free to give me a call if you have any questions, or email me. I would be more than happy. I will also be attending in the Maryland area in January the World Horse Expo, so please feel free to stop by my booth. I'd love to chat. I'll also be attending the Equine Affair in Ohio in April as well. So if any of you are in that area, we'd love to have you, and please feel free to type your questions. The question was, is it possible to get a copy of the PowerPoint? Definitely. It should be available on our website in about 2 weeks, and you could get a copy of it. The next question was, do I have to have the site prepped before construction, or do you have a crew that can do that as well? We do everything except the site excavation. That's something that you would really need to do yourself or with a local contractor or excavator. But we can give you some recommendations on the site prep. We usually like to construct the buildings a little bit of grade for drainage purposes, and we can kind of discuss how large of an area needs to be excavated and what else that will be based on the building size that you purchased and how you anchor it. We also like the site to be graded level, obviously, for all of our riding arenas. Nobody wants to ride in a hilly riding arena, so as long as it's level and graded for runoff, then we're good to go. The next question came in, and that's, does the fabric get dirty or stained? If so, how do you clean it? There really isn't an issue with the fabric getting stained or dirty. We actually treat it with a UV inhibitor, and it's actually a little bit, it's a coated material, so it's somewhat slippery. Nothing sticks to the material easily, and the covers don't really absorb any moisture, so it's difficult for anything to stick and penetrate the material to stain. The cover sometimes does get dirty, obviously, if you have a lot of horses in your arena at one time, and it's a little bit dusty. It's easily cleaned with water. I usually recommend once a year maybe going through and just taking a simple hose and some dish soap and washing your arena down front and inside and out. And like I had said earlier, most of the time what we've done in the past is if we were to have a towel and you could run it up and down the fabric just to remove the dirt. So, the next question came in the event of a tear, who makes the repairs, and does it affect the integrity of the structure or the warranty? That somewhat depends on the severity of the tear. If it's a small one, then we would have, I would just send you out a roll of fabric repair tape. That's pretty easy to use. We use that a lot with our greenhouses and other smaller structures. All you need to do is cover the tear, and it should hold up for the life of the cover. And as long as you repair the tears in the cover, it shouldn't affect the integrity of the building. The steel trusses are what support the building, and minor tears aren't a major concern. But as far as the warranty, it does depend on the tear. Under normal conditions, you shouldn't have to worry about that. You shouldn't have to worry about any tears. But we look at each claim on a case-to-case basis. So if the tear occurred during an issue with the fabric, that's something that we would cover and come out and take care of free of charge. The majority of tears, unless caused by an act of God, are covered under our warranty. The next question was, can I get a copy of the electrical savings page emailed to me today? Yes, I definitely can. If you would, if we'll get something to you. If you want to give me a call later, my extension here is 249, and we can chat on the phone, and I can get something right over to you. The next question was, what keeps riders from hitting their knees on the trusses? So the facility that I keep my horse at, we have a 65 by 200 fabric riding arena, and we on the inside have a 6-foot kick wall. So on the inside, we built up a wooden wall 6 feet, and on the last slide, you can see it a little bit. The in the big riding arena with the American flag hanging down, they just did a simple fence. Some customers do a full wall, but I always recommend that you do a kick wall along the inside to protect yourself from hitting the trusses. The next question came in, is the kick wall included in the package cost, or do we need to build that separately? You would need to build that separately, and I always recommend using just a carpenter or a general contractor to do that. I have some really great pictures of kick walls that other customers have done, so if you did want to get in contact with me, I can send those over to your email. We've done some really nice arenas. We have a beautiful one out in Washington that has a very nice kick wall in it, but that would definitely be something a general contractor or just a carpenter would do. The next question came in, do you have any suggestions regarding structural fill depth in relation to structure size? So in terms of the structural fill in the soil, that the foundation really is, most people when they do their foundation, they either do concrete blocks or wooden posts or helical anchors. If you were to do any one of those, there really wouldn't need to be any fill. That would actually be a really good question for an excavator. Somebody that would be able to answer that question a little bit better. In terms of the fill on the inside of the arena, we really don't need any. Obviously, you would want to put footing inside the arena, and that I could help you with choosing a type of footing. But in terms of the structural fill depth, some of the arenas that I've seen, there is a lot of fill built up around it. We do like to build a little bit above grade, but the actual depth of that, I would definitely consult with an excavator on that one. The next question was, do you have any experience working with soil separation landscaping fabric? We do have landscaping fabric here at Farm Tech Tech Supply and Grower Supply. That would also be another question that I would ask your excavator to think if you would need that. If you are in a particularly rainy area where you get a lot of runoff, I do always suggest that the area is graded for runoff. That way you're not having soil loss or anything like that, and I'm sure that the landscaper or excavator is going to give you a recommendation on that. But most of the time, we really do like to build a little bit above grade, so the water runs off the building and down. And I'm sure that there would be some type of reinforcement, whether that was gravel for proper drainage or that separation fabric to allow for proper drainage and to allow for the soil not to completely run away when we do get a heavy rainstorm. But I'd say definitely that would be another great question for an excavator. Are there any other questions that you would like answered? anybody else would like any other information, please feel free to give me a call here. I'm just about to head back to my desk probably in 10-15 minutes when we wrap this up. My number is 1-866-643-1010, and my direct extension to my office is 249. If any of you want to give me a call, I should be here for another, about 4 hours or so. I'll be at my desk just doing some work, so please feel free to give me a call, and I can get you some pictures and a copy of the electrical savings page and email it to you. Please feel free to just give me a call or email me. My email is also there, and I would be more than happy to get you some more information. So, thanks a lot, everyone, for attending.